Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Unification casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 2 versus 2 on Panria Lowlands. Playing as the Witch Hunters, we have got West Griffiths 13, we've got Yazoo 55 as the Salamanders as well. An opposing team, we've got Vrax as the Thousand Sons, and we've got Khorne Berserk as the Dark Eldar. Well, blow my hair back and flick my tits with excitement. This is unprecedented. This is the first time I think I've ever seen Khorne Berserker playing anything other than the most holy of the ruinous powers. Do quite like this team composition. Both Thousand Sons going to go for their Demon Gate for their squiggly, demony dudes, whatever they're called. The Screamers, that's what they're called. And the Dark Eldar, well, I mean, they can both open up quite aggressive, which will be interesting to see how these guys will react. We do have a Repressor Depot coming for the Witch Hunters, so expect a little tank in the early games. A Forge and a Furnace, which might mean the Assault Squad, or will he just go for regular Space Marines and some Thunder Fire Cannons? We will have to keep our eyes open for this. Do remember that we do have these relics and a strategic point on both the north and the south side of the map, so this southern one a little bit harder to defend as this strategic point is a little bit further forward. So the north is probably where you want to really focus. Feral Wizards coming out, going to be capping all the things. Not going to go for the strategic point in the base. Quite aggressive capping at the moment. Although quite risky as well, as these Feral Wizards are your builder and your capping unit, and they're not the most tankiest of lads, especially when compared to the Salamanders Scouts. Do have double Mandrakes coming out to see what these Arbites melee combat squads are up to. Going to be taking these guys on. These guys should be okay against one, but against two, not entirely sure how they're going to fare. Over on this side of the map, we do have, there we go, some assault squads. A little bit slower than your regular assault squads, but they are tankier and more DPS-y. So they'll be quite difficult to shake off without a significant amount of DPS. These Feral Wizards giving them the big blast before trying to run away. And Sorcerer Lord going to go for his Malefica Pavoni. So some spicy Italian meatballs on the way. Potential for chaining and... Oh, speaking of chaining, there we go. Landing these guys in midair. Also doing a little bit of damage over time by the looks of things. These Screamers will come in and see if they can send them backpacking to the Shadow Realm. Morale has been broken on these Salamanders. And they do not want to be in this combat for much longer. Bit of an Eldritch Bolt going from the Sorcerer Lord. And over here we've got an Archon with his Incubi best friends. A couple of Tech Marines as well, providing some firing support. Yeah, this is quite the combat for them to get involved in. Not sure if this is too much for them. Although they're doing alright. They're doing their best, and that's the main thing. Also have some Mandrakes coming in. But dear oh dear, Repressor Tank and some more assault squads moseying on in, although these guys have almost died, so maybe best to hold these guys back for a little bit. They are being reinforced. One fresh lad joining the squad. Yeah, the Repressor is going to be quite repressive, if you pardon the pun. Trying to get in a ram there, but missing entirely. Zinch Cultists with their cloaked invisibility being joined by the Sorcerer Lord. Going to keep him safe and snug in the middle of this combat. Archon losing. Oh no, his friends are still here. They're just stuck behind all these gubbins. Yeah, this Repressor is not going to go down anytime soon. What else are you going to go for? You're going to... you're just happy with your tank at the moment. Tank and a squad of Arbites fire supports. Might potentially see an Inquisition-themed Witch Hunter army composition rather than the usual sisters. Homunculus Laboratory on the way. The Archon is just trying to keep away these assault squads, but too fast, too nimble. Not sure what the cooldown time on the chains are for the Sorcerer Lord, but if he's able to get another one of these squads down with the addition of these Screamers, potential for a squad wipe. If this Repressor can just get out of the damn way. Good lord. A little bit of a ram. Not sure if that made a collision with anyone. But it was a good attempt all the same. On the south side we do have Mandrakes Slicing and dicing all these lads, killing a good number of them. Not the strongest of lads are the fire support squad. You want them supported on the front lines. You can see some warp mines in an attempt to protect half and home of the Thousand Suns. And these assault squads are a little bit low in number. Are you teching up or anything? You are going to go for a Thunderfire cannon. But at the moment, how much economy have you got? Not an amazing economy, but you are building up on the northern side as well, sir. This constant harass is actually doing something useful for the map control and econ game. Quick economy check, actually. 80 and 36 and 74 and 20 compared to 74 and 40. Jesus, look at all these plasma generators. And at 80 and 10. So that's what the Witch Hunter is doing. He's getting the one singular repressor squad out, capping all these things. I mean, he's been denied it now, but just using this tank to assist his ally, and then getting his econ supercharged, which is a damn fine strategy if you ask me. And the Assault Marines still on the field. Warrior squad soon to get their Warrior Cyberite. Definitely can shoot at these guys quite nicely, but should they turn their attention to them, the assault squad, I mean, might be in for a bit of a sticky situation. The press is still taking very little in the way of damage. Very impressive. There we go, Thunderfire cannon now out on the field. We'll have to keep this boy quite protected. Skirmishes is getting a wonderful surround on it straight away. Now the assault squad will stand and try and fight. Dark Eldar Warrior Squad should move in as quickly as humanly possible. There we go. Took him a bit of time. Sadly, the Screamers have gone down. But this Thunderfire cannon will fall foul to the evil machinations of Zinch and Kamara. I think there we go. They've gone for their tier 2 question mark? Ah, there we go. Reliquary of Faith, that's their tier 2. Fair enough. And the Repressor, no longer able to stand, will fall. Sorcerer giving everyone a good shake around with his spells, and the Assault Squad does fall back. One of them not surviving, sadly. Well, the Fire Support Squad still down here, still holding their own, but finally being taken to the cleaners. And for first 7 minutes of that game, now finally a little bit of time to reflect on our lives. At the moment, we are going to see another Repressor coming out, more Fire Support Squads. Going to go see some Splinter Cannons for those Dark Warriors, and a Deceiver for the Thousand Suns. Going to go for that vehicle cap increase, so expect to see some more vehicle-based plays. Thunderfire cannons coming out from the smithery. Actually, no, that one's been cancelled. So one singular Thunderfire cannon against infiltrated units. Assault Squad going to look to see if they can jump over the side. A anvil over here, a nice sneaky one as well, so they won't see it coming. But they have lost a listening post. Down here, the Repressor is coming back out to play. Going to upgrade himself with a heavy flamer, which will be ideal against any other demons that come out, but not sure if we'll be seeing that much in the way of demons for now. Does seem that in this stage of the game, it's wise to transition to more vehicles. A Rhino as well. Are you patched with any boys? No boys in you yet. There we go, flame on flamer action, and the Deceiver has a bigger flamer. In fact, it's got two. Archon getting a good surround on that Repressor, and the Repressor already been chunked down to quite low health. Scourges with their wonderful angelic wings going to be taking care of that vehicle. Adeptus Sororitas Militant Convent building, and we are going to... Oh, just triple Penitent Engines, why not? Although need to get those vehicle cap increases if he actually wants to get something on the field. Are you researching it now, young man? I hope so. Double Razorbacks going up against all this gubbins. In fact, going to go for triple. And these guys will absolutely melt their way through the Zinch cultists, but against this Deceiver, especially when backed into a corner, unable to escape or reposition themselves. The Zinch cultists losing their invisibility from this skull probe here. But then again, I do believe that their invisibility is toggleable? Toggly. It's something. Oh no, there's just another skull probe out. Fair enough. Moving straight in, giving them a show, and the cultists do fall quite quickly. Deceiver trying to cut through these as quickly as possible. Will manage to get a second Razorback down. Over onto this side. First Penitent Engine, kicking back these guys. Are you infiltrated, Mandrix? Yes, you are. Fair enough. Repressor goes down. And to be fair, triple Penitent Engines into these Scourges. Be interesting to see if they're able to get close enough quickly. But the Scourges are able to reposition with their mighty wings. Going to see a Cannoness coming out. Potentially be able, using a big, bright, shiny ability to make people blind and lose their weapon accuracy. Dear oh dear, the Warrior Sabarite on his own. And the Cannoness being cut down by the Mandrakes and the Archon. Deceiver over here falling back as this Rapier Armour Destroyer has sent it away from the front lines. But a very vehicle, like I said, very vehicle heavy composition, and these Scourges will certainly, along with these horrors of Zinch, cause these guys some serious problems. They need these tanks supported. Whether it's in the form of infantry, whether it's in the form of... Well, I mean, there's no other alternative, is there? I suppose maybe aircraft might be a thing, but Scourges again are good against aircraft. Deceiver does go down from a mighty punch from a Penitent Engine, but this lady will have to waddle her way back home. What's the alternatives? Arco Flagellants, of course. Good against demons as well as heavy infantry. Also, they just don't die, apparently. They just go in and they can stay in combat for a very long period of time. Going to see just some more Rapier Armour Destroyers. Yeah, Ferrum Infernus Dreadnought for the Thousand Suns. There we go, the Arco Flagellants whipping and nay-naying all over the shop. These guys over here have been chained to the floor, free to be shot up by anyone. And actually, these guys aren't standing up too well to that kind of punishment. But incoming Razorback and Penitent Engine, if they can stand and build up their numbers, these Arco Flagellants, they should be alright. Although against the Ferrum Infernus Dreadnought, this is a wonderfully diverse unit build from the high ground team here. A good mix of infantry and vehicles, forcing the downhill team to really have to diversify their portfolio here. But there we go, the Rapier Armour Destroyers opening fire on anything regardless of its armour type. Won't do amazing damage, but they will look cool while doing it. And there's certain points for coolness. Quadruple Scourges over here. It's quite the commitment. But then again, this map is ideal for them. They are able to jump up and down these ridges and chasms. But it does seem like they've used all the jumping juice for now. Razorback's opening fire on these guys. Another squad coming out. You don't want these guys to stay on the front lines for too long. Even with a full squad of 7 lads and a Solarite, they've only got 2,400 health. Compared to the Arco Flagellant 6 with almost double the health. Razorback goes down. Muted Sorcerer coming in there. Seeing if he can use his spaghetti arm to cause any kind of damage. These guys jump over the side, but then they are shot by... What were you shot by? I don't think he was shot by anything. But yeah, now that these guys are in full force, it's going to take a lot to bring them back down. Predator now out. The big old cannon. Be gone, sweet summer child. Acid being poured down onto the Arco Flagellants, but they have now moved off, knocking that Torture Slave on his backside. Over here, the Altar of Zinch being torn down by the mechanized units of the Salamanders. One slave chamber goes down. A Scarab Occult Terminator squad on the way for their Inferno Stormbolt ammunition. You are right there, Corn Berserker. They just won't die. But managing to finally break them down after some concentrated fire. And there we go. Managing to take a good chunk of building. Well, 2 buildings in total, but it's something. I've got double Razorbacks in the Thousand Suns base, but Scarab Terminators will be able to tank their damage. Now a whole swarm, a flock, shall we say, a murder of Scourge is going to jump straight in and very quickly wipe out the remainder of the Salamander's forces. Got a Whirlwind as well for Vrax. And the assault squad over here trying to get those decaps. Narrowly avoiding a squad wipe there. God blimey, let's have a look at the economies. 55 and 71 to the Thousand Suns. 91 and 39 for the Dark Eldar. 80 and 59 for the Witch Hunters. And 121 and 79 for the Salamanders. So, while at the moment the uphill team has got the army advantage, the guys on the lower plains, they've managed to really get their economy a-going. All the Hereticus, have you been destroyed at some point? Oh no, you're just recruiting things, right? Okay, that makes sense. Fair enough. More Arco-Flagellants on the way, but these Scourges are just gonna completely ignore them. Run straight in, kill that builder unit. Now start honing in on the economy here. If you can't beat them, ignore them. That's what my Eldar used to say. Well, when providing long-range support, recruitment building goes down. Arco-Flagellants having to run the gauntlet to get towards these guys. And then the moment they... Oh, there we go, look at that. Catch me if you can, fuckers. Cannon S goes down. And these Flagellants are going to have a hard time. They've got no range capabilities. So in current situations, they won't do all that well. We do have some Primaris aggressor squads over here. But this is looking quite like a desperate situation here. More aggressors on the way. Terminator squad. The Whirlwind knocking these Flagellants on their back, which is not what they want. They want to keep that momentum going. And what are the Witch Hunters going to go for? Currently not much at the moment, but Primaris aggressors go and stand as best they can. Scourge is going to try and tie them up in close combat, which is a very unusual thing to see, but entirely practical given the circumstances. Flagellants unsure which direction to go in. We do have a Predator moving in on the flanks, seeing if they can get some shots in. Focusing on that Predator with its own melter gun. These guys will be pushed out all the way down onto this side, managing to rally. Some Terminators now joining their ranks. The Arco-Flagellants, at least for the time being, taking the damage from the Scourges, just so that these Salamanders can reposition themselves. Predator does go down, but has managed to knock that Predator out of action, at least just for a little bit, waiting for those repairs from the Thrall Wizards. Terminator Assault Squad teleporting straight in, looking to go up against these Scarab Occult Terminators. Scourge Squads decide to reposition over here, provide maximum firing support. Assault Terminators just need to hold on while these aggressor squads move into assistance position, but it does not look like they are able to do so, sadly. And the Whirlwind disrupting that firing line, but now they're going to rip and tear that firing rate. Very intimidating, especially with these Terminators going for their assault cannons. Now anything and everything within their path going to be torn in half. The big old Gattles, big old Gatling guns. Down here we do have Tier 2 being re-researched for West Griffith 13. He needs to get that back on as soon as possible, though quite brave putting it so far forward. Sisters of Battle over here as well. There we go, by the sheer amount of stuff going on, they will be able to maybe defend this, but over on this side, the whole Scourge army coming in, destroying a lot of the buildings. Might potentially get the smithy as well if these Salamanders don't beat back these squads. Tier 2 now being redone. Salamanders, though, do have a couple of bits of tech up here as well, so it's not the end of the world. But do you have any more builder units? Ah, you are in the Vault of Remembrance up here. Yes, I think you are. So could rebuild their base elsewhere. Although the portent is not looking very favourable for the Lowlands team. But not impossible. They still have some high-tier units online for them, in the form of these aggressors and the Terminators. Just need to make sure that they take care of themselves and maybe pull back a little bit just to recoup their numbers. Where have the Scourges gone? The Scourges are back over here, cracking things down. Ordo Hereticus Chamber trying to be rebuilt, but will be seen by these Scourges. But the Primaris not giving up, not surrendering. They will stand for as long as they can. Anything crazy going on in the bases at the moment? No, just constantly building up more boys. A replacement Predator coming in now, which will spell disaster for the Thousand Suns Predator if they don't do anything about it. Some spooky Eldar nonsense going with these Primaris, forcing them to turn against their comrades before being cut apart by the Archon. And over here, Scourge is absolutely wiping out the entirety of the Witch Hunter's base. Very little in the way that they could do. They are trying to rebuild Arbites' local headquarters, but this Tower of Loathing will see it. So they will know the next place for them to target. Got some regular old tactical Marines jumping in. A glorious last stand. Fighting for every inch. More being teleported in. I imagine this is more tactical Marines. There we go. Salamanders over here, dogged in their response. Battle Sisters joining the fray as well. Might even be able to take on these Sekhmet Cabal Terminators. Should they gain some purchase, should they be able to keep this DPS going. But the Scourges, sadly, they're not even being involved. They're just on building hunting duties. Impossible to really keep up with these guys on a map like this. Real pain in the backside, unless of course you've got either static defences or something just as mobile as them. Predator goes down for the Salamanders. More tactical Marines being summoned in. But sadly, the Witch Hunters have been defeated. A single tear down mine eye. And the Salamanders have gone down as well. So wonderful opening from the Southern team. Really liked that use of the Repressor to basically not have to build up a tier 1 army, but kind of just use your Arbites to cap things, Repressor to harass, while you then tech up into tier 2 with a very strong economy, especially from the Salamanders player as well, being able to keep all the stuff over here for, well, until the very last moments of the game. But yeah, those Scourges, man, just their maneuverability on this map. Unparalleled, unprecedented harassment going on here. So yeah, if you like the game, £1 a month does get you one extra game a week on the old Patreon. Also, there is a Discord where all the fun things happen. My name's been Mr. Landshark. Pleasure as always, never a chore. I'll see you in a bit. Peace.